What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Kevin, and I want you to become the best version of yourself by transforming your physique, updating your belief system, and helping you to achieve anything you desire in your life. Today, I want to discuss a very common problem when it comes to losing fat. There are a lot of people who decide that they want to lose weight and transform their bodies. And oftentimes, when they make that decision, they are very motivated, they are very eager to achieve their results in no time, and they make a crucial mistake that will inevitably set them up for failure, and they will simply not be able to maintain their fat loss journey. The problem I'm talking about is when you are extremely motivated, you tend to go into extremes. And that is exactly what these people do when it comes to losing fat. They adopt an extremely aggressive calorie deficit. Believe it or not, but I see a lot of guys who want to diet down to a lower body fat percentage doing stupid things like going on a crash diet, going from eating like a bull, like a full-blown big ass world champion powerlifter, to eating like an anorexic 12-year-old girl. And that is the exact opposite of what you should do. I see these people, these big strong guys, or sometimes even men who don't lift but who are extremely motivated, going on calorie restriction diets that only allow them to eat 500 to 800 calories each and every day. And guys, yes, you might lose weight fast in the beginning, but you won't keep on losing weight. And you know why that is? Because you are neglecting a very important aspect of fat loss, and that is sustainability and consistency. In order to lose fat, yes, you have to go into a calorie deficit. You have to take in less energy than you burn in order to lose fat. But fat loss is a long-term journey. And if you go on an extremely aggressive fat loss diet, if you adopt an extremely aggressive calorie deficit, you will simply not be able to maintain that over the long term. You will not be able to sustain that. And that is simply math. Your body will be in a constant state of stress where your cortisol will be sky high, testosterone and other hormones will be out of whack, your leptin will be low, your ghrelin will be high. That means your satisfaction hormone will be low and your hunger hormone will spike, will be high. And that is why you will simply set yourself up for failure when you are going into extremes when it comes to calorie deficits. Now, the point of losing fat, the point of cutting down to the desired level of body fat that you wish to achieve is enjoyability. I don't know if that's even a word, but you have to make it enjoyable. You have to make your fat loss journey enjoyable and satisfying. Obviously, there is always a psychological aspect to fat loss that makes it a little difficult because you are in a way restricting yourself, and people do not do well with restrictions. However, when you are deciding to lose fat, when you are ready to start your body transformation, you have to be sure to make sure that you know how much calories that you need each and every day to maintain your current body weight. Once you have determined your daily calorie requirements for your weight maintenance, you have to take a smart approach of only going into a moderate calorie deficit. And for most people, that will be a calorie deficit of about between 15 and 25%, depending on their starting point. The reason I'm telling you to do it this way is because it's an enjoyable approach and it's a sustainable approach. It's not going into extremes. When most people diet down by going on a moderate calorie deficit, they can still eat a significant amount of food. And even though they will slow and steadily lose weight, they will not have the feeling that they are punishing themselves and putting their bodies through an extremely difficult task. And obviously, once you go down in calories and as your weight goes down, you will inevitably reach a plateau at some point, especially if you are starting with a very high body fat percentage. You will have to work into phases. And when you adopt a moderate calorie deficit, it is way easier to keep changing your or adapting your diet to your current calorie needs. And that is essentially what you need to do. It is all about balance, it is all about sustainability and making progress and adapting where adaptation needs to be put in your process. So don't make the mistake of going from eating like a bull to eating like an anorexic teenage girl, because that way you are simply going to set yourself up for failure, and that is simply not what you want. Fat loss is a long term game, fat loss is a long term journey, and you want to maintain that lower body fat percentage once you get to your point. And the easiest way to do that, and the most enjoyable way to do that, is to find a way to go and apply a moderate calorie deficit. And once you adopt a moderate calorie deficit, from there you monitor your progress and you see where you have to go even lower in calories. Another big tip that I can give you is fat loss is all about calories in versus calories out. And if you want to perfect your body composition, make sure to eat enough protein and to perform a resistance training routine. However, there are no such thing as bad foods when it comes to weight loss. I don't care if you eat chicken and rice all day or if you eat chicken and Snickers all day. It all comes down to your daily calorie targets. A big tip that I can give you though is to stick to eating 80% of your daily calories to whole, nutritious foods, because those foods will tend to fill you up more. Even though you are being in a calorie deficit and putting yourself in a state of an energy deficit, by eating filling foods like lean meats, poultry, eggs, low fat dairy, all kinds of vegetables, fruits, you will give your body food sources that are nutritious, that are filling your appetite. You will feel satisfied when eating these foods. And yes, people will always have cravings. And that is where you put in those last 20% of your daily calories. In that perspective, you can fill in those last 20% of calories with a sweet to stop the cravings and essentially give yourself a little treat so that you are satisfying your sweet tooth and that you will be able to maintain your fat loss journey and maintain your diet. It's all about lifestyle, guys. Don't make it more difficult than it is. There is no magic diet, there is no magic weight loss approach. The only thing that counts is being in a calorie deficit. The only thing that you have to put in mind, however, is that you have to make it enjoyable for yourself. You have to make it enjoyable and sustainable. It has to be a lifestyle that you can maintain for a long period of time, because it's not from eating in a calorie deficit for a couple of days that you will completely transform your body. It is from eating in a calorie deficit over a long period of time that you will melt off the fat, and that way you will be more aware of your body's needs. You will be able to stick to it, and you can easily monitor your fat loss progress from there. Like I said, at one point when you are in a calorie deficit, you will reach a point of plateau. There is a thing called metabolic adaptation, and that means once you go on a calorie deficit and you lower your energy intake, your body will lose fat, you will lose weight, but your body's requirements, your energy requirements will change over time, and your body will adapt itself to its current calorie intake. So if you are not at your point that you desire to be body fat wise, you will again have to lower your calories even further. And the best approach to do that is to again adopt a moderate calorie deficit. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to fat loss. And by slowly monitoring your progress, you can see where you can adapt, where you can uh, monitor your calories from a certain point depending on your goals. And that's basically it. And by taking your fat loss journey into smaller steps of a calorie deficit, by going on a moderate calorie deficit, you will not punish yourself that much. And not only will it be more bearable physically, don't underestimate it psychologically, because Like I said, guys, when you are dieting down, you, without a doubt, will focus more on your foods, on your cravings, because as humans, when we are restricted in something, psychologically it does something to us, and you will have to force yourself sometimes to not eat over your calorie requirements. You will sometimes have to be strong and your willpower will be tested. So that is why I strongly advise you, take a smart approach, take a smart fat loss strategy, and don't go into extremes because the extremes are simply not maintainable over the long term. The only people that I advise to go on to very low calorie days are people who look at fat loss from a weekly perspective, and if they eat at maintenance each and every day, but put in 1 or 2 days per week where they eat one meal of about, let's say, 800 calories, those 1 or 2 days added up will put themselves in a weekly calorie deficit as it would if they would lower their daily calorie deficit by, for example, 500 by a moderate approach. But for most people, I personally think that a daily calorie deficit, moderate calorie deficit, will be a better approach. Slow and steady wins the race, guys. Do what works for you. Find the types of foods that you like, that are filling, and that allow you to eat in a calorie deficit without having the feeling that you are starving yourself, and monitor your progress from there on. Guys, I hope this information was of value. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up and a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope that you share the video with everybody that you know so that we can help more people to achieve their goals in life, especially when it comes to fitness and their body composition. So guys, thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Take care.